Branding isn't just a logo, it's a mindset. A holistic approach shaping identities, experiences, and leadership at every level. Welcome to BrandsTalk with your host, Brigitte Bakowski, where excellence meets purpose. Today's guest is someone who brings a depth of listening that feels almost rare in today's fast-moving world. Robyn Harris is the founder of Wild Wellbeing, a well-being practitioner, speaker, and author of Take a Walk on the Wild Side. With a background that spans energy-based well-being approaches and many years as a professional sign language interpreter, she has cultivated an extraordinary sensitivity to what is spoken and what is not. Her work sits at the intersection of nervous system safety, intuition, insight, and authentic expression. Robyn guides individuals to move beyond coping and into true alignment, not by fixing themselves, but by creating the internal conditions for safety, coherence, and trust. And today, we explore what happens to our brains when we begin listening from that place. Welcome, Robyn Harris. Welcome to BrandsTalk.
Thank you so much, Brigitte. I'm so excited to be here and to see where our conversation might go.
I'm so happy to have you as my special guest today, and I'm so excited about learning from you and also for the audience to learn from you what it means to listen deeply to the body and the nervous system. And there is the so-called body wisdom. I want you to explain to us, to go deep, what it is and how does it communicate with us in everyday life and business?
I see our body wisdom as the fact that every single cell in our body has a blueprint. It knows what it needs in order to function at its optimum. And if it's not in that optimum situation, it'll communicate in some way. And basically, we are a collection of cells, and they send out chemical and electrical impulses and messages to the body. And they're all interconnected and interdependent. And for us as the whole, the body as a whole, rather than just that collection of cells, we pick up on those things in a number of different ways. It might be physical sensations in the body, it might be emotions, it might be thoughts and belief patterns that keep coming up in our heads, it might be behavioral patterns that we start to notice, it might be those imposter syndromes, or I've done that again. Why have I done that again? Or it could be that twinge you get in your back, or a whole number of things like that. But it's always, these things are always there for a reason. They're there because, as A.H. Almaas says in his wonderful quote, it's a message from that part of you that loves you the most. That always gives me a tingle to think of that. It's something that's coming from the part of me that loves me the most because it doesn't want me to live a second-rate life. It knows what it needs for me to be at my optimum, for me to live the life I was born to live, to shine, because each of us is an individual. We each have our own specific gifts to bring to the world, and we struggle to do that to the best of our capacity unless we are living our fullest life. We might be able to do it to a degree, but we're not serving ourselves and we're not serving those around us to the best we possibly can if we're being held back. And we get held back because we experience trauma of whatever kind that might be. It might be the big T trauma, it might be the cumulative small things that we barely even notice at the time, but that we shrink ourselves in order to survive that moment. So our body doesn't let us do that without sending us messages to say, if we could just tweak this, this needs a little bit of attention. You are so much more, or have potential to be so much more. And I want that for you. I want you to live in joy and delight and fullness. And I am here to show you the way to that. And it does take us to be an interpreter and to understand those messages, because by and large, in today's society, we have lost a lot of that understanding. So we might feel those twinges or see those behavioral patterns, and we don't understand that it is that part of us that loves us that's trying to support us. So we push it down, or we take a painkiller, or we keep busy, or engage in some other behavior that just makes that go away. But it doesn't go away forever. It'll come back like one of those stress balls. It'll pop out somewhere else. But it's just asking us to listen.
Yeah. How do I connect with this body wisdom? So, what's behind it? Because it's a pain that we feel or something that feels uncomfortable, like imposter syndrome. I was suffering from that too. And why did I do that or whatever question that arises? So, how can I go behind that and feel or sense or hear this inner wisdom talking to us? What is it? How do I understand it's there? And this is the voice that is talking to me that loves me.
I think because, as I say, so many of us in the Western world have lost that sense of, this is a voice speaking to me, this is my body holds wisdom. It's starting to shift. Some people are coming back to this now. There are lots of great books out there, like Bessel van der Kolk's bestseller, The Body Keeps the Score, where people are beginning to understand that pain is not something we need to fear. It actually holds wisdom. It's the body holding on to something for us, or shaping itself around something that over time is not serving us. But I think because we live in such a busy, noisy world with so many demands coming at us 24/7, 365, we've got our phones pinging and the email list that we need to do and the to-do list that never gets shorter, just gets longer. So for me, it's about starting off by creating a space where we feel safe. That's not just physically safe, because most of us, thankfully, in today's world do feel physically safe. Not all, I do appreciate that. But most of us feel physically we're safe, but also emotionally safe, psychologically safe, away from that critical inner voice or critical outer voices that we might fear are going to come, particularly if we're experiencing that imposter syndrome, because it is that fear that, well, somebody's going to find out that I'm not as good as I'm saying I am, or that I'm not able to do what I've promised. So all of those sorts of things. So finding that space, creating that space where we have that safety in order to get still and to get quiet. And so many people, certainly I see a lot of people who struggle with being still. Our world is so noisy and busy and demanding our attention in lots of different ways, more these days than would have been the case certainly when I was growing up. And that's, it's 50 plus years ago, but it's not that long in terms of how long we've lived as a human. We haven't fully made that adjustment yet. So that ability to get still, that safety to get still, because when we are still and quiet, then we can start to listen and tune into that inner voice. When the world is busy, that inner voice is quiet, and we might not be able to hear it above the rest of the noise.
Can you recommend some tactics to get into that position, into creating this safe space for us? Is there a breathing exercise? What is it that you use or recommend for leaders who are in a rat race, in stressful situations, to really calm down and create that?
I have a YouTube channel, And on that channel, there's a playlist with self-help, self-care exercises. So there's a lot of options there. But just to share one or a couple here, I like the breathing exercise because it's something we have with us at all times. It's something we have control over. And it's something that when we get conscious, we can use to ground us, to recenter ourselves, to bring us back into the present moment, and to allow for that even just momentary stillness. And the more we do it, the more we practice it, the more habitual it can become, so the easier that we can get into that space. There are lots of different breathing exercises that you can find and practice. There's box breathing, where you can physically draw a box or just count out and visualize a box, maybe going 4 up, 4 across, 4 down, and 4 back to where you started, or 6, whatever is comfortable for you. But for me, the most important thing is when we're panicking, or when we start to breathe from the top part of our chest, it sends a feedback loop to our body. Something's wrong. Panic now. So what's important for me is to bring the breath deeper down into the diaphragm, those belly breaths that people talk about, and to do it consciously, noticing the feel of the air coming in, colder air in through the nose, down into the lungs, deep down, and then warmer as you breathe it out. And I'm a nose breather because I've read the book Breath by James Nestor, where he talks about it being so important to breathe through your nose. So I breathe in and out through my nose. Some people tend to breathe out through their mouth with a sigh, because that, again, is that sense of release. So doing that, and if we can have the longer out breath, again, that's very calming. It sends that feedback loop to the body. All is well. And I also love vagus nerve exercises. And a very simple one, just quickly, is just to massage our ears. Because the vagus nerve, vagus, linking to vagrant, because it travels throughout so much of our body, connects with so many different organs. And it is here in our ears, and it goes across our face. So if you have a tight jaw, if your shoulders are up around your ears somewhere, massaging your ears along with that breath is very good for just helping us to get back to grounded and centeredness, and of course to feel our feet on the floor.
Okay, this is new to me. Thank you so much. I'm gonna try that the next time. And this is all internally. Now, I would like to go one step further, because the nervous system safetiness also plays a role in visibility. And it's often the missing piece in expressing ourselves authentically. So, how does that translate into this visibility, the safety, into building an authentic personal or business identity? Let's call it also brand. So, in your opinion, how does that go together?
We talked about imposter syndrome at the beginning, and for me, if we're feeling that imposter syndrome, it causes us to feel anxiety and to tense up. And when we tense up and our brains go into the hamster wheel and the second guessing, we are no longer, we're here, our energy is here, our attention is here. How can I do this? I need to get this right. Perhaps perfectionism as well. That all of that second guessing in that hamster wheel, we've come out of our body. We're no longer feeling grounded. We're no longer feeling centered. We're no longer feeling, I've got this, I can look at it objectively. We're so in it, we're so close to it. And from that space, it's hard to feel like we're present, and therefore to be authentic and to speak with our true voice. And talking about speaking, when we were doing that vagus nerve exercise, I mentioned that the vagus nerve travels throughout the body. It also impacts our facial expression and our vocal tone. So when we are tense, our vocal tone changes. And there is a way of speaking when we are relaxed that indicates safety to others. And although we might not be as aware of it as we used to be when we were hunter-gatherers, we pick up on somebody else's energy, their vocal tone, their facial expression. We tend to think we just listen to words, and it's words that tell us what somebody's trying to say. But like you said when you read a bio for me at the beginning, it's not just what we say, it's what we don't say. And it's how we say what we say. So in order to really speak from a grounded, authentic position, I think it's so important to explore all of this for ourselves. And it's not to say that we need to be perfect, but it's just that we're more conscious, I think. Anything that we can do with greater consciousness, I think we're more likely to do it in the best way that we possibly can. And also when we are at that, I feel safe, I'm speaking from safety, my face is indicating safety, we make connections. So as I was saying, people pick up on those things from us. If there's something that is a mismatch, you mentioned the word congruency, if there's a mismatch between what I'm saying, because I know my message needs to tell you this, but my body somewhere is going, I'm not sure, I don't know if I'm getting this right. There's a mismatch, and that will come across. People will pick up on that. So that will impact on how we're seen. But if we're able to be calm, be grounded, be centered, our message is calm and grounded and centered, and therefore it's authentic, and people go, wow. Because there's something in the energy of that you can't quite put your finger on, but I want that. I want to connect with that. I want to feel that myself. So I like that brand. And it is that coherence of the brand.
You said also many leaders struggle to show up consistently. They understand something is not quite aligned. What is usually behind that resistance? What's happening beneath? Is it a limiting belief they have? What is it?
Yes, it could be a limiting belief. It could be a fear. And particularly, I think, for women, we have a fear that speaking up is somehow not safe. We may have been told it wasn't safe. Certainly that is my experience. Because as a child, I was expected to behave in a certain way. And I was expected to be good. And good meant that I did what I was told. And if I had strong feelings around something, if that was a different perspective from that of my adult caregiver, so a teacher, a parent, then that was not to be expressed because that was not good. And if I got frustrated and angry because I felt I wasn't being heard, then that definitely wasn't good, because good girls don't get angry. They don't shout. They don't get frustrated. They don't act out. They sit quietly. They behave. They do what they're told. So I learnt that my voice had no power, no value, that to speak out was unsafe because I would get shouted at, I would get punished. And that's not at all in any way to blame any of the adults who were my caregivers. They were just behaving from what they'd learned. So they'd been through it themselves, and it was just being passed on. But quite often the messaging that's given to girls is different from that given to boys. So for women entrepreneurs, then I think it can often be more challenging.
And this is exactly what blocks us, or our ability to connect and to hear our inner guidance, I suppose, isn't it? Now in this world where, it's all about strategy, is this external pressure. So it's even more so important to get to this calm place with all the techniques that you have mentioned before. Is there also something, another technique that can speed up the process for leaders, for visionaries to tune in and strengthen their capacity to listen to their inner wisdom? Is there anything that, you know, once they understand how to keep ourselves in that frequency? Let's say it like that.
Let's go back a little bit. I think also the fact that the world is still largely masculine energy. And we have this sense that we have to push and we have to do. And our self-worth comes from that doing, how much we are seen to achieve. That's what gives us our self-worth, and that's what allows us to stand up and run our own business and speak out and be a brand in terms of my word. If I write a book or I'm a speaker or I'm running a business, that what I offer brings value, rather than allowing my feminine energy to come through. I feel I have to behave in a certain way, but maybe that's not my way. And where is the value for the feminine energy? Because the feminine energy may be sometimes more hidden. It's like the seed planted in the ground that can't be seen initially, but it's doing so much work under the surface. And as women, we are great connectors and nurturers and bringing people together. We work differently. Men often, they'll work quite solo, they will forge out, or they'll be in that hunter-gatherer mode and they'll be out searching and seeking and doing. Women come together in circle. We have knit and natter, and some of those phrases are a bit, that's not what I want to do, but it's thinking of that coming together as women, bringing our energies and our gifts and our wonderful skills and talents as women together and lifting each other up. Because so long there's a lot of talk, or was certainly a few years ago, about crab theory, pulling each other down, and women get bitchy and backbiting and don't support each other. But I think when we look at, well, what are our skills? What is our history and our legacy? It's about that coming together. It's about community. It's about connection. It's about nurturing and growing and supporting. And if that is something that you hold within you, we can be maternal without having children, because it's about that creativity and that nurturing and that growth. And in terms of your last question there, again, that's a bit masculine energy for me. We do want to speed things up, but for me, it's not about fixing. It's not about waving that magic wand and there you are, there you go. It's about recognizing that every step along the way is a valuable part of our journey. And that if a little twinge comes up, a little niggle, a repeating pattern that, oh, I thought I dealt with that, why is it coming up again? For me, that's a reason to celebrate. Because I don't think things come up randomly. I think they come up because something inside of us, that part of us that loves us the most, that body wisdom, knows you've got the tools now. You're ready to go deeper. There's another layer here. And this other layer is you stepping even more fully into your sovereignty, who you were born to be, what you have to bring to the world. So I was that person who, oh, come on, wave your magic wand, just do it, and then I'm there. But now I think if you had done that back when I started my journey and moved me to here or to some phase in my life, I couldn't have coped. I didn't have the skills. I learnt the skills. I developed and grew and nurtured those skills through the journey. So for me, it's more about owning where I am right now, which is part of my brand, part of the face that I share with the world. And as you know, you've been on my podcast, it's called Vulnerability, Introspection and Growth. Because I think so many of us, we don't want to show our vulnerabilities, men and women. because for men, that's I have to be strong. And for women, I have to hold everything together. I can't let it collapse. So I have to show myself as resilient, capable, and looking strong, though inside I might be struggling, feeling like that imposter. Whereas I've seen again and again on the podcast, and this is kind of why I want it to be there, it's to show that when we own our vulnerabilities and we embrace them, not with a critical voice, but just standing and owning it. This is who I am, and it's okay. Because I know that actually my vulnerability is my strength, and it's where I learn and I grow and I develop. And I'm going to offer to you to come into this space, maybe in circle, with me. And let's all just be okay with our vulnerabilities. And to know that that's our humanity, and it's from that level of being and energy that we connect. Because I'm vulnerable and so are you. I embrace my vulnerability, which allows me to hold space for yours. And then we do that together.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for this. Because, first of all, living in sisterhood and being connected with others and being in an inner circle, in a mastermind, in an accountability group, it's uplifting. We're supporting each other. As there is parts of the journey we have really difficulties walking it alone, and we need others to tell us, hey, you have a gift. Look there. This is you. Very often you just don't see it, but you need others to tell you how great you actually are and what gift you have for the world. And being in this vulnerability, allowing yourself to be that. It's not about only doing. Of course we do, but we also need to be. And what I also loved is, in order to speed up, we need to slow down. We need to go in introspection. We need to have this awareness, bringing the unconscious to the consciousness. Can I say that? Yeah. I think that's what it is all about. And thank you really for pointing that out again, to take the time. It's all worth it. Rushing it over will not get you there. It's not sustainable at all. Thank you. And I would love to turn the spotlight on you, on your journey. You created Wild Wellbeing, and that's such a distinctive brand. How did your own healing journey shape the way your brand could naturally emerge?
It took time. And Wild Wellbeing is not the name that my business started with. It's been through some evolution and some change as I learnt and grew and came to have a deeper understanding and realization of where I was going, what I was offering, and that was its growth process. And I think wild is because I very much draw on the wisdom of nature. I see ourselves as just being another aspect of nature, and that our well-being is interconnected and interdependent on everything else. I don't think we as humans can be fully well without wellness for nature, for the animals, for the plants, for the earth, because if any of those are out of balance and harmony, it impacts on us. And when we are out of balance and harmony as humans, as a society, then the earth and nature struggle. And as we are seeing currently, and we're talking about mass extinctions and so on. So I think I draw a lot on nature, and wild reflects that. But wild, as an acronym, each letter, each word comes from my own journey and my realization that it's about perspective. It's about how we see the world. So wild isn't a set of steps. It's about what way of seeing myself, seeing the world, and my place or relationship within the world will best serve me and allow me to bring my best self to everything that I do and to the world. And so I had come from a place of seeing the world as grey, miserable, difficult, challenge, that sense of I have to push, I have to fight, it's all hard, it's all struggle, and I don't get much back. Nobody's really interested. Again, my voice has no value. I'm not important, all of those things. Whereas when I was a child, I was very different. I was just, oh, let me at it. I want to engage with this world. So from going from that cynical, jaded perspective to getting back to the wonder. W for wild is wonder. The wonder of a child, seeing the world through the eyes of a child, beginner's mind. Every day something is fresh and new. And every object in my world is beautiful in some way. And although it may be something I take for granted, there is something about it that's very, very special. So even my cup. So for me, it holds my favorite drink, it's warming, and also it's my brand colors. So just looking at everything with that freshness again, because we get to choose how we look at things, and we can step back into that excitement of a child, that wonder, that joy. I is intuition, so it's listening to that body wisdom, starting to trust it again. Society often has taught us not to trust it because it's even from when you're a child, maybe at school, and you're told to sit still. As a child, you need to move. Or like I described, when I was feeling frustrated and angry and nobody was listening and my voice had no value, my inner being knows I have value. When I feel dismissed, that feels like you're an adult, you're the one who knows, you're the one who's nurturing and rearing me, and I need your connection. Therefore, you need to be right. And if you're right in this, I'm wrong. So then I stop trusting my body and its wisdom and the messages it's sending me. So getting back to that knowing and trusting and loving and respecting and listening to and following. L is love yourself as you are. You don't need to change. If you want to make little tweaks, that's absolutely fine. Just listen to that inner guidance, but love yourself through the process. And there's a thing that goes around every now and again saying, you've been beating yourself up for years. You've been listening to that critical inner voice. Is it working? Is it serving you? No. Let's start trying to listen to a voice of love. That voice, I.H. Almas says, is loving you, and that's why it's sending you these messages. Let's try listening to that one. And D is dance. If we saw life more as a dance, that we just go with the flow, it's not a competition, it's not a test, we can't fail. For me, our purpose, our biggest purpose, sometimes we think of purpose as having to be this grand thing that it leaves my legacy and people will remember me and my name will be associated with this forever. But for me, my purpose in being here is to be me. And your purpose is to be you, because we are unique. We bring gifts that nobody else ever, not even just now, but ever will bring. And the universe has conspired to create us in the way that it has, with the gifts that we have and with what we've brought down through our generations, and we bring then as our interpretation as an individual for a reason. We are of our time, we are of our place, and there's a reason for us to be here. If you think about the unlikelihood actually of that egg and that sperm coming together and creating you and you living to be this age, compared to all of the things that might have happened to prevent that, then we are little miracles, each and every one of us. So to Our purpose is just to be us and to bring the fullest me that each of us can bring to the world. And so we can't fail. And the more we can love ourselves, listen to our intuition, and allow ourselves to see the world with wonder, rather than just, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that, and my forward progress there is blocked by this. But just to get back to that childish, it's so exciting, it's so wonderful, and my voice has value, then bringing all of that
Yes.
together results in a much happier, much freer, more flowing, gentle, curious, fun life.
Wonderful, Robyn. I see you have done your work. That what I mean by that. Your logo, your brand is so rich in meaning. There is a narrative, there is a story. And a lot of people just pick something, or their branding agency is picking something, and they have no relation, no connection, no emotional attachment to it. Something like that would never work. But you have done your work, you have done introspection, you know exactly what you're doing, and you put everything into all the different nuanced meanings into that logo, into your brand. And that makes it so strong. It's so rich in meaning, and I love that. And you live it. You live it with passion, and yeah, I love that. And you are really a good example of how it's supposed to be. So thank you so much. Yeah,
Just to
Robyn.
add, though,
Yes.
as I said at the time, we don't have to get it right first time, and it's
No.
okay to tweak and change as it goes along, and to allow it, as you say, to build, and not to feel like, oh, that has been given to me, or that was my brand when I started. Your brand can evolve because we evolve, we change. Every single day is a school day. We have new learning, we have new growth. So I think that it's okay for your brand to evolve, and the more it evolves and the more you evolve and you learn, the more it becomes that meaningful, multi-layered, wonderful thing that guides you as well as guiding the people that you're reaching out to.
Exactly, you say it. It's nothing that is static. It's dynamic in its sense, and it's evolving with you, with every experience that you have, with every major learning, with every redirection. Your brain is also redirecting with you. It's always a becoming. That's why I talk about becoming. You're becoming your brain. You're always. That's about it, and that takes time. It's nothing that you have from the beginning. It just is an evolution. Good. So thank you so much, Robyn. And before we finish up, I would love to end with a fun, rapid fire session. I threw out a few terms, and you share your first thoughts in a phrase or a sentence that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. The first one is well-being.
For me, well-being isn't just an absence of symptoms. It's something so much deeper and richer, but it's so worthwhile. Worthwhile doing that exploration and that getting curious and exploring and allowing whatever wants to come up.
Beautiful. Authenticity.
Allowing yourself to be grounded, to be centered, and to speak your truth from that place.
Resilience.
I think we have resilience when we feel that grounded, centered well-being, that I have capacity for whatever life throws at me.
Wisdom.
Oh, that's an interesting one, particularly because I've just listened to the book Haggitude, and being of that kind of midlife older woman now, I think that wisdom is a collection of so many things, all the things that we value, the wisdom of our body, the wisdom of our lineage, the wisdom of the natural world around us. And it's about pulling all of those together through our filter, because we are always making interpretations of things. So again, that's part of our gift and what we can then share.
Absolutely. We see the world with our filters. Podcast.
Oh, I love a good podcast. I love listening to people's wisdom and to all the different perspectives and ways of looking at the world that people have, and picking up, talking about those little pieces that we pick together and combine in our own unique way, getting those bits of wisdom from the different voices we listen to. So podcasts are wonderful for that. I love speaking on them. I love listening to them.
Yeah, me too. And last but not least, brands. What does a brand mean to you?
I think a good brand is encapsulating somebody's wisdom that they bring through their business, hopefully with authenticity, with consciousness, and with that calm, grounded energy that just, this is what I offer. If it resonates and it's for you, fantastic. If it doesn't, that's fine. But this is what I offer. And it's clarity as well. And has that meaning, and that, Simon Sinek and his why, that it encapsulates that to motivate the business owner, but also to share that message with clarity.
Beautiful. I love the aspect of wisdom in it. Thank you so much. Yeah, Robyn, can listeners find you and maybe get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook and on LinkedIn. I also have recently started a Substack account. I'm on YouTube, and my website is w-i-l-d.uk. So basically it spells wild, UK. You can find all my links on there, and I also have a Wild Wellbeing speaker.co.uk. But again, if you look on the Wild UK site and go to working with me, there's a link there that'll take you. Or just email me, Robyn at w-i-l-d.uk.
Awesome. All goes into the show notes. Thank you so much, Robyn Harris, for being my guest today. It was my absolute pleasure having you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brigitte. It was a wonderful conversation. I've totally enjoyed being here. Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit follow on your favorite app, share it with your network, and leave a quick review. Stay tuned for the next episode and keep shining.